People sent their pictures in, remember?
Yes, yes.
What do you turn this TV off?
Oh, good God. What was that? 2006? Picture of a group of us that had me in it. I think it said 2006.
We're old.
Some people just never go away. No idea whether I can be heard or not.
Well, just
We hear you, Brent.
You
We hear you.
can. Greetings, everybody. So nice to have you here for the slideshow.
it's anything like Biden and you won't need to worry.
Oh no, music.
Storms are on the ocean, and she's gone.
Oh gosh.
Gone. I'll fly away to a shady grove while you sing a hobo song. Make me a path.
Just be glad you still have your hair.
So I can roll in my sleep, baby.
Who is this old man?
Oh, pick on Jeff.
This train is
Well, he's more fit than me.
heading
When you either fit or you have hair. You could be fit.
Ridge Mounts.
Such great memories, huh?
Never dies. I'm sitting on top of the world where this little light of mine will shine. You are all my sunshine. I'm so lonesome I could cry, but I keep on
We're gonna do that meeting where we get to drink wine.
with bluegrass on my
No, I hadn't. That,
You are
what you thought I was.
I'm so lonesome I could cry, but I keep on the sunny side with bluegrass on
You
my.
have to give them a lot of money to do wine.
Greetings, everyone. So glad to have you here and joining us.
It's a new day. It's a fresh start. Let's cherish this moment. Let it fill your mind and heart. 'Cause
Andrea's on. Andrea Herman was in New Hampshire. She's the development for
Oh, yeah,
national.
yeah.
Jeff may maybe on here too. It says Jeff Sawyer's iPhone.
Uh-oh. Really? Oh, that's cool.
Everyone, thanks so much for joining us. We're waiting just a few minutes before we get started, but please do introduce yourselves in the chat and welcome.
It's a new day. It's a fresh start. Let's cherish this moment, let it fill your mind and heart. 'Cause failure's not an option. Let's open opportunity and knocking. Let's take action and stop all the talking. Let's build each other up and put the courage in. Let's build each other up and put the courage in. And when you get to the top, reach back and help someone up. It takes courage to admit you didn't do it all alone. Embrace your loved ones. Reach out to your friends. This world can be a magical place. You just follow your heart and stay true to the end. 'Cause it's a new day. It's a fresh start. Let's cherish this moment, let it fill your mind and heart. It's failure's not an option. Let's open opportunity and knocking. Let's take action and stop all the talking. Let's build each other up and put the courage in. Let's build each other up and put the courage in. Let's build each other up and put the courage in. Let's build each other up and put the courage in.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Saunders. I'm the Massachusetts Director for Clean Water Action. I use she, her pronouns, and I am so glad to see all of your faces here.
And I'm Paulina Casasola. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm our climate justice organizer. We'll be the MCs for this event, and we are so thrilled to be here with you all tonight. This is a very special event because 2022 is the 50th anniversary of the Clean Water Act and the 50th anniversary of Clean Water Action. And we're delighted to celebrate that with you.
Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping notes. Please make sure that your microphone stays muted throughout the program, unless you're speaking, one of the speakers, of course. We would love to read your comments and celebrations in the chat. Glad to see they've already started. Please keep it up at any time throughout the program. Also, this event is designed to be viewed on speaker view, so you might want to change that view in your upper right-hand corner of your screen if you are currently on gallery view. And if you're having any problems with Zoom at all, please reach out in the chat and one of our awesome team members will assist you. Finally, please do check out our virtual program book. Bethany Dickerson has shared the link in the chat and will continue to throughout the event.
And please also use the chat to introduce yourself. We've got folks joining us from all over Massachusetts and a few from further away. And we'd love to know where you're from and who the original inhabitants of that place are and where. So, for example, our office in so-called Boston resides on Massachusetts territory. And our office in so-called Northampton is on Nipmuc land. Bethany just shared a link in the chat you can use to look up whose land you stand on. Just type in your address to find out. And I encourage you all to learn more about the history of Indigenous peoples in your area and take this land acknowledgement a step further by finding out ways you can support the local battles and dreams of those Indigenous peoples in your area.
Now I would like to turn our attention to the incredible work that we all do together here at Clean Water Action. We are living through very challenging and scary times, and I don't have to spell that out for any of you. And in these times, it's more important than ever to practice the disciplines of hope, noticing what is good, and finding joy. And amidst it all, there are real reasons to be hopeful and joyful. And our goal is to lift up some of those reasons tonight and celebrate them. More and more people are fighting back in powerful ways, and there continue to be victories to celebrate, including many that we have accomplished together this year.
Like this summer, for example, when we began to see the fruits of our labor on energy equity, when the Energy Efficiency Advisory Council drafted their renters plan to increase access to energy efficiency programs and implemented the feedback we provided to make their strategies more impactful.
In April, after our members joined with lots of people across the country as part of the Mind the Store campaign and put pressure on Burger King, the fast food chain announced that it would phase out toxic PFAS from its food packaging. And now we're working on REI to get it out all of its products.
And in late July, we celebrated a victory when the climate and energy bill passed with emphasis on supporting the future of offshore wind in Massachusetts. The bill will establish an offshore wind industry investment program and create a pilot program for whole building retrofits in low and moderate income buildings.
We also made incredible progress in our plans to remove lead water lines from Malden and Chelsea in particular, where we're spearheading work to get the lead out with local partners. And we've just received a grant from the EPA to expand that work to other communities.
And we've continued to work closely with our grassroots allies at the Massachusetts Environmental Justice Legislative Table to increase air monitoring and access air filters in communities overburdened by transportation pollution.
After lots of pressure from Clean Water Action and the Alliance for Healthy Tomorrow, a Massachusetts task force released a report detailing a host of actions needed to address PFAS in Massachusetts, and leaders in the State House have pledged to advance many of those recommendations in a comprehensive bill next session.
The best part about our work are the opportunities we've gotten to collaborate with environmental justice communities and organizations to center our work around those who are disproportionately impacted. Thank you to GJC and other coalitions who help us stay grounded in our work.
And even more, alongside our partners in the Zero Waste Massachusetts Coalition, we have raised the visibility of the need for zero waste, and we've backed grassroots leaders in Saugus and Taunton who are waging powerful battles against current and proposed waste facilities in their communities.
And we helped pass a $6.5 million fund for building decarbonization in gateway cities and have given input to the Department of Energy and Resources as they get ready to announce a new funding competition.
And finally, we've endorsed Maura Healey for governor of Massachusetts, along with 14 candidates for election in state legislative races in Massachusetts, who, if and when elected, are going to move Massachusetts politics further towards environmental protection and justice. You can check out the list of who we've endorsed in the program book.
We celebrate these victories together. Everyone here in the Zoom has contributed something to make them possible. So thank you so much. And we'll want to hear from you at different times during this event. So starting right now, if you have a minute, please put one word in the chat that appreciates the 50 years of Clean Water Action and our work together. And during the last portion of this event, we'll have an open time to hear from you. Please be thinking about your stories from the past 50 years of clean water action and your hopes for the next 50 years.
Sorry, I was putting my words of inspiration in the chat. While you're putting your words of inspiration in the chat, before we get into our program, I would like to thank a few of the people who fight for this kind of a future every day. We have some legislators in the room, so will all the state legislators and legislative staff who are here, please raise your virtual hand so that you will be moved to the front of people's screens and be visible. You can do that. You'll find the raise hand feature underneath the reactions. We have State Representative Jim Hawkins. Thank you so much for being here. State Representative Jessica Giannino, State Senator Mike Barrett. Thank you for being here. I believe that, let's see, Representative Sean Garbally, there he is also here. Wonderful to see you. And let's see, and Representative Jeff Turco, I believe, is also here. Did I miss anybody? We are so grateful for all of to you for being here today and for all of your leadership in the State House. It's wonderful to partner with each and every one of you. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I also want to acknowledge our advisory board members. You are also invited to put your hands, raise your Zoom hands and come to the front of the line and be visible. So Essence Perry, Jeremy Schenk, Lynn Nadeau, Lee Kettleson, Ellie Goldberg, Sarah Moffett, Mary Lampert, Margot Barnett, Brent Baslack, Sarah Naiman. We are all so thankful to have you on our team and part of our Clean Water family.
We are so pleased that introducing our keynote speaker, Assistant Speaker Catherine Clark, is Mayor Gary Christensen of Malden, Massachusetts. In 2021, Clean Water Action, the City of Malden, the NAACP Mystic River Valley Branch, and other local groups worked with the Assistant Speaker to secure $3.8 million for the City of Malden to accelerate its removal of lead pipes. We have a lot to celebrate about the fight to get the lead out of drinking water across all of Massachusetts, and we are particularly proud of Malden for their work over the past several years. We'll be celebrating Malden again a bit later in the program, but for now, I'll turn it over to Mayor Christensen, who will say a few words about what Assistant Speaker Clark's incredible advocacy on behalf of her constituents has meant for Malden.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. First, I want to congratulate Clean Water Action on their 50 years of service and thank them for their continued partnership with the City of Malden over the last several years. It has been their collaboration with my office and our city departments that has helped us educate our residents on the dangers of lead in drinking water. Malden is working through a significant number of lead line services, and one of the challenges has been outreach to our low-income, BIPOC, and language-isolated residents. Partnering with Clean Water Action has improved our reach into these communities. We could not be more grateful, and I just want to show our appreciation with this citation, and I promise it's within the allotted time that I have, and it reads as follows. On this day, the City of Malden congratulates Clean Water Action on 50 years of making a difference in Malden and beyond. From advocating for clean energy and drinking water to protecting the environment, Clean Water Action, without a doubt, has made communities like ours safer. We are especially grateful to them for all their work with the removal of lead lines in Malden. They organized community meetings and worked alongside organizations like the Mystic Valley NAACP, which convinced Congresswoman Catherine Clark to advocate and provide a $3 million earmark to cover the cost of the entire lead line removal. Again, congratulations to Clean Water Action on 50 years of making a difference, and we look forward to working with them in the future. Now, There is no doubt that education and outreach is of utmost importance, but we would not be able to address the lead lines in our community without adequate funding. Although we are currently implementing an aggressive program and replacing over 200 lead lines per year, we need to do much more. However, a consistent obstacle is that the city owns the line from the water main to the curb, and the property owner owns the section that travels under their private property. This means that the cost of replacing the private side falls on property owners. As an environmental justice community, we have a sizable population of low-income residents, residents of color, and language isolated communities. Our residents lack the income needed to afford this cost. This is where Congresswoman Catherine Clark comes in. Anyone that knows her can attest to the fact that her entire career in public service has been to improve the quality of life for children and families. I had no doubt when I reached out to her about the availability of federal earmarks to assist in our lead line replacement program, that she would help. She immediately understood the challenges we were up against and agreed wholeheartedly that if Malden could finance the replacement of both the public and private lines, it would be a major step forward toward bridging the equity gap that persists for EJ populations when it comes to reducing sources of lead exposure. Congresswoman Clark and her staff took an active interest in the issue, and with her commitment and the support of organizations like Clean Water Action, Malden Core, and the Mystic Valley NAACP, we were able to secure a $3.36 million earmark to remove lead lines and provide safe drinking water for all our residents. With so much uncertainty in the world, there is one thing I am sure of, and it's that Malden is fortunate to be one of the 24 cities and towns that Congresswoman Clark represents. She has always supported any cause or initiative that was important to our community. It is no surprise that in 2020, she was elected by her colleagues to serve as Assistant Speaker of the 117th Congress after serving as Vice Chair of the House Democratic Caucus during the previous session. And now, without further ado, I am pleased to introduce our Congresswoman and Assistant Speaker of the House, Catherine Clark.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me to join you as we celebrate 50 years of Clean Water Action. You, the members, local leaders, and environmental champions across the Commonwealth have been instrumental to Clean Water Action's many victories over the years. And I congratulate tonight's awardees, the Taunton Clean Air Coalition, Brian Cardinal, Brent Bieslak, and my partners and friends in MA5, the NAACP Mystic Valley branch, and State Representative Jessica Giannino. I'd also like to recognize Sue Phelan and Steve Seymour from Green Cape for all their work to protect our environment, health, economic well-being, and quality of life. For 5 decades, Clean Water Action has been at the forefront of the fight for a cleaner, more just planet. You've protected our planet while solving community-based challenges through your policy, expertise, advocacy, and grassroots organizing. The scope of your impact is local and global. Your work embodies Nelson Mandela's words: freedom alone is not enough without light to read, without time or access to water. Clean water is a basic freedom. Ask any family with a loved one sick with cancer from toxic water. Ask any parent struggling to care for a child with asthma from polluted air. The tragedies in Flint and Jackson resonate right here in Massachusetts. Let me tell you about a family in the 5th District, John and Katie from Woburn. Last year, right after Katie got pregnant, their family received a letter informing them that the PFAS level in their town's water supply was too high for safe consumption. For 9 months, Katie could only drink bottled water. They were forced to spend hundreds of dollars to purchase bottled water, made dozens and dozens of trips to the store, and created huge amounts of plastic waste. Even cooking something as simple as pasta became much more expensive and time-consuming. The inability to safely drink their tap water cost John and Katie's family time and money that should have been spent preparing for their first child. Even after the water was safe to drink, they found it difficult to trust the water coming out of the tap, especially when it came to making baby formula. Today, their baby is almost 6 months old, and they are considering buying a $500 water filtration system that requires a plumber to install for another $500. That's money that could go to childcare or even a college fund. No family in Woburn or anywhere in Massachusetts should be spending thousands of dollars out of pocket for something that should safely come out of their faucets every day. That's why Democrats in Congress, in partnership with the White House, have found solutions so families like Katie and John's can access safe, clean water. I want to tell you about 3 historic steps we've taken. First, we enacted the Infrastructure and Jobs Law, legislation that is investing $55 billion in federal funding to ensure that clean, safe drinking water is a right in all communities. This is the largest single investment in clean drinking water and wastewater infrastructure in American history. Massachusetts alone is poised to receive over $12 billion from the new law. And nationwide, we've invested $10 billion to detect and eliminate PFAS chemicals. The new law will also eliminate all lead pipes in the U.S. at work, home, school, child care centers, and across tribal nations. Second, President Biden signed the Inflation Reduction Act, which is the largest investment to fight climate change in our history. It lowers carbon emissions, invests in clean energy manufacturing, creates new green jobs, and makes clean energy more affordable, from EVs to home appliances. And finally, just weeks ago, the Biden White House announced the Environmental Protection Agency created a new Office of Environmental Justice. Environmental policy and equity will now always be intertwined. We've long known that access to drinking water isn't just a public health issue, but also a racial justice issue. Lead poisoning is higher among Black Americans than whites, and higher in inner cities and low-income families. Clean water, like so many other freedoms in this country, can greatly depend on your zip code, your income, or your race. We've fought this battle in Massachusetts, and I'm proud to have secured $3 million for the City of Malden's lead line replacement program in last year's government funding package. The federal dollars are accelerating the replacement of lead service on behalf of Malden residents. And now the new EPA office will prioritize equal access to clean water in every town and community. None of these advancements would have been possible without the leadership and partnership of Clean Water Action over the last 50 years. The Clean Water Act of 1976 started this movement and opened the floodgates of environmental activism. This incredible win for our people and planet taught us to be urgent, bold, and unrelenting in the fight for clean water and a green future. Of course, there is much more work remaining. The Native American proverb reminds us, we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. So today, let's celebrate our progress and continue to find inspiration from these words. For John and Katie's son in Woburn, for every child from Malden to Mississippi, we must redouble our commitment to building a greener, cleaner, more sustainable future for generations to come, to guarantee their future and their freedom. My message today is as clear as our water will be. I'll always stand with you in our fight for America's families and for a cleaner planet. Thank you for being a leader in this work and my partner on the ground and in Washington. Here's to another 50 years of clean water action.
Thank you so much, Assistant Speaker Clark, for that beautiful speech and for all of your work on behalf of Massachusetts. And I have to say, thank you so much, Mayor Christensen. We had no idea he was going to give us that beautiful citation, and it really means a lot. We're really happy to work with you. And my name is Mario Fernandez y Mora, and I am the Associate State Director of the Massachusetts office. I've also had the honor of running our drinking water campaigns for the last 4 years. And I'm so excited to be able to give this award to the NAACP Mystic Valley chapter for their leadership in getting the lead out of drinking water in Malden. Lead exposure has plagued us as a society for centuries. In fact, one of the not so fun facts that I often share when we're doing community meetings about lead in water is that the word plumbing actually comes from the Latin word plumbum, which means lead. I say this to illustrate both the prevalence and persistence of this dangerous toxin. There are an estimated 2 million lead pipes in the United States and an estimated 220,000 in Massachusetts. These pipes represent the largest source of lead contamination in drinking water, and they continue to cause serious health problems, particularly to children. Unfortunately, like so many other environmental issues, the impact of lead in drinking water is not equal. Black children still experience elevated blood lead levels at twice the rate of white children, and when cities don't cover the entire cost of replacement, we see that low-income communities and communities of color are left behind and exposed to lead for longer periods of time. The resources to replace lead service lines are significant, but this work is entirely possible. However, it is only possible if we consistently talk about drinking water on the community level and work with community members who are dedicated to elevating the issue to local, state, and federal officials who have the power to get these aging lead pipes out of the ground. It's also only possible if we talk about the role of systemic racism and poverty in the landscape of water today. For too long, communities of color have faced the ongoing legacy of systemic racism and a resulting lack of investment in water infrastructure. Tragedies like Flint, Michigan, and Jackson, Mississippi remind us that we do a disservice to the environmental movement when we ignore the role that racism has played in the communities most affected. This is why it is imperative that the environmental movement reaches out to racial justice groups and communities of color and forms strong alliances. NAACP Mystic Valley Branch has been one such partner. Their ongoing support and collaboration has been key to creating a campaign that calls lead in drinking water what it is, a racial justice issue. Their partnership has led to real, tangible, accelerated change in Malden and will serve as a model for years to come as we expand our work into even more communities. It has been my absolute pleasure to connect with NAACP Mystic Valley Branch and be in conversation about key environmental justice issues that have such a significant impact on our communities of color. And it is my honor to introduce Erga Pierrette, who will be accepting this award on behalf of the NAACP Mystic Valley Branch.
Thank you. Congratulations for 50 years of leadership, Clean Water Action. Woo! Thank you for your dedication and all of the lives that you have technically saved through bringing awareness, knowledge, resources, and solutions, which include empowerment, action plans, action steps, linguistic access, and honesty. Thank you, Moreo, for locking arms with me, with my Malden community, and with the Mystic Valley Area Branch of the NAACP's Environmental Justice Committee, of which I co-chair with Vincent Dixon. You helped to bring awareness and knowledge about the seriousness of the lead pipe issues that we didn't even know about. Thank you for caring about our Black and Brown marginalized communities that are located in redlined areas that continue to be subjected to environmental injustices more than other communities. We need to amplify the connections and boldly connect the dots that explain why these unjust conditions continuously and consistently impact people who look like me. Let us continue to lock arms with groups like Friends of Roosevelt Park in Malden, who are fighting environmental racism to date. We need to call in our elected officials to do right by all of their constituents, because it is the right thing to do. Thank you, Congresswoman Clark, for your support in funding the lead replacement for the city of Malden. You saw the need, you provided the needed resources to resolve the problem. We need to continue to lock arms and amplify the voices for clean water, for clean air, healthy lead-free soil, and equal access to green spaces. Together, we need to dismantle systemic racism and center humanity to bring forth the much needed change for our BIPOC communities. We can only do this work together. It takes one person to make a difference, and it takes a group of people to bring forth change. Thank you so much for honoring our branch this evening. We truly appreciate this recognition. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you, Urga. Thank you so much. What a powerful work that you're doing and a powerful response. And we're so, so happy to be in partnership with you. So I'm very excited to transition us to our next Clean Water Champion Award, which is to be presented to a Clean Water stalwart, Brent Baslack. And here to help me present it is someone who has been on a Clean Water Action Celebration stage many times before. Lee Kettleson has been part of the Clean Water family since 1987 when she first joined our staff, and she is our former New England director. She hired me to this role, and she's a current member of our advisory board member. So I will hand it over to you, Lee.
Oh, hi. I was figuring out how to unmute. Hi, everyone. It's so great to see some of you I haven't seen for many, many years in your little boxes. So about Brent, at the risk of revealing both our ages, but also demonstrating Brent's stick-to-itiveness and commitment, I first began working with Brent in 1988. Clean Water had a grassroots coalition to stop the permitting of more and more trash incinerators across the state. And when one was proposed for Haverhill, Brent stepped up to take leadership of the local opposition. While the Haverhill plant was permitted and is still there, Brent helped us win a moratorium on any more incinerators in 1990. Brent's passion is the natural ecosystem, and he serves today as the conservation agent for the town of Rowley. But I remember Brent's love of eagles back then, which I knew not much about, and how he became part of our team fighting mercury emissions from the incinerators, because we learned the extent of the mercury building up in the local fish, which is, of course, eaten by the eagles, poisoning them and many other creatures. It was news back then. I have memories, don't have very many memories of the past, but I have memories of many meetings with just Brent and myself and some mercury expert I don't remember, meeting many times in Boston with the DEP and the DPH to get something done. And I really relied on Brent to help push. In Haverhill, Brent was a founding member of the Haverhill Environmental League. Back in the day, we all took part in numerous public meetings and hearings in person, in big rooms.
Uh-oh, I know where this is going.
And we all delighted, we did enjoy when Brent raised his hand and was called upon, and a very tall man with a deep booming voice stood up and said, "I am Brent Bazelak from hell." That was the initials of his group, which I'm sure he picked in order to get attention. Brent is an effective, smart, and strategic leader, and it was my great pleasure and privilege to work with him for a few decades. So now I'm going to turn it over to Elizabeth to say a bit more.
Well, as Lee has laid out, Brent has been a key member of the Clean Water Action family for decades. And in 1989, soon after teaming up with Lee, he joined the Massachusetts Advisory Board, which he still serves on. And in 2002, he was appointed to the Clean Water Action National Board, where he represented Massachusetts until the end of 2021. Brent, your persistence, your passion for environmental protection, your stick-to-itness, all of that embodies so much of who Clean Water Action is and what we are about. Brent, you're a fighter, you're a persistent advocate, and you do it all with good spirit and a sense of humor. You've given so much of yourself to this organization over the years, and all of us are so grateful to you for your decades of leadership, your dedication to Clean Water Action, and your commitment to creating a better world. We're proud to present you with the 2022 Clean Water Action Champion Award.
Boy, how in the world can I even bother to put any type of capstone on that? I would like the word stubborn inserted for persistent, because persistent keeps making me think of toxins or contaminants. So
Stubborn, you got
it. But thank you very much, friends, old and new, or just acquaintances who I haven't made the acquaintance of yet, as Lee mentioned in our little boxes today. I do wish we were together. And Clean Water has, I think, given more to our communities, given more to each of us individually than we sometimes realize. And being able to participate, being able to contribute, and being able to, as Clean Water Action, to be activated into helping protect our communities and make improvements that ripple out and go far beyond us. That's really been a gift that I have been more than welcome to participate in, and thank you for recognizing it. Now, as I have counseled, so the last couple of years have been challenging, and as I have counseled the National Board, and as has been mentioned, that I am very much enamored and in love with the natural world, I have counseled folks in these challenging times to find a tree that can become their favorite tree, and have it be on a trail or a park or just a tree that's down the corner from you. Trees are such amazing creatures, and we should, in one sense, get to know them a little better because they benefit us a lot, but they also can help you ground yourself in what you are fighting for and realize what you are protecting. Because at the end of the day, we can pack up and leave if we don't like situations. Trees don't have that option. They need to stay there. But at the same time, they cast shade, they help in photosynthesis, they give the birds a place to nest. So they're such amazing creatures that we share this planet with, and they can help us become grounded and focused on what we did. So that's besides giving thanks, I want to counsel you all in taking care of yourself and becoming more grounded, and also firm in the commitment to contribute to what Clean Water is doing, because it is such a wonderful organization. And congratulations on 50 years of doing the best that can be done. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Brent, and thanks so much for being such a core member of our team for many, many of those 50 years.
Okay. Well, greetings, friends, greetings. Clean Water family members, we are at a very fun part of the agenda. And how we all doing? Good? I wish we were all in one place, sharing hugs and in-person connections, but I appreciate us all virtually too. And I'm excited for this special moment in our program. Together with an amazing team of grassroots leaders from Saugus, I know that Mireille from Slingshot, Deb Panetta, Stephanie Shakowski, and Ann Devlin from Save, and really just amazing people from the greater Saugus area. We're here today, and you can see the folks spotlight right now, to announce our next award to a shining bright light in our community. Rep Jess Janino, woo! Everybody join us in giving this recognition. Rep Janino was elected to the Massachusetts House of Representatives in 2020. And before that, she served as Revere City Councilor at Large since 2012. Yeah, she started early and has kept at it. She brings youth and passion and women power and Revere grit and grace to all she takes on, especially the fight for zero waste and sustainability. And I also want to add Representative Jeff Turco, who is my representative, representing Winthrop and Saugus and Revere as well, to this group, because we are all working closely together on this work. So it's lovely to have a team together. So more about Jess. Jess has been on the front lines of the battle to tackle the notorious Saugus incinerator and ash pit for years, and has a broad embrace of the community at large. I don't know how many multi-hour evening meetings we all have sat through together, a lot recently and a lot over the years. At the last meeting though, she shared something about her core philosophy handed down to her by her grandfather. I'm paraphrasing a bit here, that I want to share. Jess essentially said that she got this advice from her grandfather. Your job is to carry yourself such that you can lay your head on the pillow at night and sleep with a clean conscience. So for her clarity of vision and her persistence or stubbornness, whichever you prefer, for her courage, for her zeal, her strong moral compass, and her grit and grace as a proud daughter of Revere. We want to present you, we're proud to present you with our Legislative Champion Award this year, and thank you for your leadership in the fight against environmental injustice and community health burdens. So please join me in recognizing Rep Janino, and we'll turn this over to you, Jess.
Thank you so much, Cindy. And after your kind words, I forgot everything I wanted to say because that was so special. I'm so honored to be here with you all this evening. Congratulations, Clean Water Action, on 50 years. And congratulations to all of the champions that are being honored this evening on your work. You know, the projects that we're working on in Massachusetts cannot be done alone. It takes a team, and there is not a stronger environmental team than the people on this call tonight. So I want to take a moment to acknowledge you guys, because that's why we're here. That's what motivates me to get out of bed and do the work every day. So I'm so grateful for you. To my partners in the legislature that are on tonight, thank you so much. Jeff Turco and I share the city of Revere, and our districts are so unique because we have so many beautiful, beautiful environmental gems in our community. We're the home of America's first public beach, Revere Beach. We have Rumney Marsh, which is such a precious gem in our community. In my district particularly, we also have Saugus River watershed, Chelsea Creek, and beautiful Point of Pines River. So many important resources to the greater Boston area, the North Shore, and the city of Revere. I first got involved back in 2011 when I first got elected to the city council. And this fight is not new to my district. It's not new to my community. There have been strong women representing the city of Revere for many years. My predecessors, Kathy Reinstein and Rosalie Vincent, fought this fight for a very, very long time and were incredible role models for me and environmental leaders that have watched this facility develop and change over the last, 20 or 30 years. And I think, unfortunately, they thought that by the time our generation was in office and Rep. Turco and I were here, that this fight would be over because this facility was scheduled to close several times over, but the final nail in the coffin was supposed to be 2025. And here we are in 2022 looking at a proposal for expansion that this facility is trying to expand for another 25 years. It's completely unacceptable, and it's completely mind-blowing that they're trying to dump more ash, more toxins into a marsh in 3 environmental justice communities. Our people deserve to breathe clean air, free of dioxin, free of heavy metals, free of all of the things that this incinerator is putting into our air and putting into our water. And I'm very sad that I have to have this fight. I'm very sad that we're still here because this facility should have been shut down long ago, but we are here. So I'm so grateful for this honor. I'm so grateful for my Saugus team that's on tonight. I'm here with Vice Chair of the Board of Selectmen, Deb Panetta, who's been fighting this her whole political career and her life. She's a huge role model in my life. So thank you, Deb. And thank you for all of my colleagues on the Alliance for Health and Environment. Cindy, you're a rock star and I love you. Thank you guys so much.
Hi, so I'm Amber Schmidt. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Canvas Director for the Providence Clean Water Office. I'm thrilled to kick off the next 2 awards, which are our annual John O'Connor Awards. The John O'Connor Leadership Awards are presented annually to an individual or organization that has exhibited transformational grassroots leadership in their community, and to an outstanding leader in the Clean Water Action Canvas team. John O'Connor, or Johnny O, was an innovative Massachusetts organizer who fought toxic hazards in the 1980s locally, then nationally, as a founder and coordinator of the National Campaign Against Toxic Hazards, alongside Clean Water Action's founder, David Zwick. He was known for his unique spirit, his love of organizing, his love of the canvassers who work to build community power one person at a time, and his mantra, "The fun is in the fight." He died in 2001 at age 46. The leaders who we will honor today carry his legacy and spirit on, whether they knew him or not. I'm really pleased to announce the first recipient of the John O'Connor Award tonight, Brian Cardinal. Brian is an amazing leader, field manager in my office, has amazing, has the stats to prove it, raising over $36,000 and gaining Clean Water Action over 1,200 members just this year alone. So Brian, on behalf of the entire Clean Water Action Massachusetts staff team, I'm proud to present you with the 2022 John O'Connor Award for Canvassing.
Thank you so much, Amber. Can you hear me all right? I'm not sure if I don't think I have great connection out here.
Yes, I should have also said Brian is zooming in from turf tonight. So yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that introduction. And yeah, well, first off, I just want to say thank you to everyone for virtually coming out today. It's really an honor and a privilege for me that I get to work alongside each and every one of you. So thank you all very much. And great that we could I can receive this award on the 50th year of Clean Water. So that's awesome for me. And I will keep this brief, of course. I got to get back to knocking on doors, obviously. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone that I've got the chance to work with in the Providence office. Jed, Vivian, Michelle, and especially those who trained me, Amber, Julia, and also Jen. Taught me everything I know about canvassing. I'm sure that without those three and everyone I've worked with in Providence, that I would not be able to be nearly as successful, if at all, at canvassing. So yeah, thank you all very much. And yeah, I will hand it back to Amber.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you join from Shrewsbury, Massachusetts tonight. So we'll let you get back.
Thank
Yay.
you all.
Congratulations, Brian. So our next award recipient receiving the Joan O'Connor Grassroots Leadership Award is Clean Air Taunton, which is a group fighting to prevent the pollution of Taunton's air, water, and land by blocking the building of the proposed Aries Clean Air Technology sludge incinerator in their city. And it's been a tremendous joy for our program and Canvas staff to work with the incredible grassroots leaders at Clean Air Taunton. We have learned so much from you and are looking forward to continuing the fight to stop Aries from building that incinerator. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to support you in this battle. We are excited to congratulate you tonight, and power to you all. I see Nancy and Rep. Carol. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for including us in
And
your
Maggie.
And Maggie, yeah.
yeah. Thank you for including us in your celebration. It's great seeing all the different wonderful things that you do. And we very much appreciate this award. And unfortunately, our leader is in Ireland today, so she couldn't be here. It's Lisa Fields, who's done an awesome job of getting us together. Pass it on to Carol.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm sorry to come in late. You know how it is, many things going on, all plugged into the same time. So I am particularly proud of the work that Clean Air Taunton has done right from the very beginning to oppose the gasification facility that, in my opinion, has been rushed through and rushed by the general public with City Hall hoping that it would escape the attention of the community and the activists in the community, and that they could just go ahead and get permitted and build the thing to deal with the very serious problem of sewage sludge. It's a problem all over the Commonwealth and also across the country, if not the world. But we don't want Taunton to be the guinea pig. I think that with an uptick in the conversation about PFAS in our water, we were able to get in that PFAS report at least a mention of PFAS in the air. And I think that that understanding is growing and growing. So I'm very proud of Lisa Field and Nancy Clark and Coalition for Social Justice that has been the engine moving this forward. Maggie, thank you so much. And everyone else who has stepped in to help to protect the citizens of Taunton. So thanks for the opportunity. Thank you, Nancy and Maggie, and everybody else who's involved in this effort.
And thank you to Clean Air and Clean Water Action, because for all the help that you've done in canvassing.
And I also want to give a shout out to Sabrina Davis from Coalition of Social Justice, who's here tonight. Her and Lisa have been doing a tremendous job mobilizing all of us. So it's a joy to work with you all.
Okay, wow. We are at, I think, a really powerful moment in our program tonight. I want to thank everyone from Taunton for setting this up so perfectly for our next segment. I have the special honor of introducing Ellie Goldberg, a dear friend and a longtime Clean Water Action Board member and super activist with Green Newton, with Mothers Out Front, and more. Ellie is going to help us honor the work and legacy of Sue Phelan, who passed away last year, and her husband, Steve Seymour. Together, they founded and led Green Cape and led the fight for a healthy Cape Cod for decades. And we honor them this evening. Ellie?
Okay, thank you, Cindy, for asking me to make a few remarks to honor our beloved Sue Phelan and her legacy. At the end of my comments, I'm going to include some remarks that Steve Seymour made at the annual Clean Water Action Party in 2003, honoring my husband Ephraim, who had died the year before. in which Steve celebrated how our family and friends all enable us to do our advocacy work. For me, Steve's memorable words emphasize the shared values and mutual support that Sue and Steve demonstrated as an activist team, and how their leadership inspired and empowered others to join the fight. Sue first contacted me in the mid-1990s. I was one of the founders of Newton's Green Decade Committee for Alternatives to Pesticides, called Green CAP, and she wanted to know what I thought of the name, the Cape Alliance for Pesticide Education, Green CAPE. She had a degree in horticulture and could talk microbiology and public health. I immediately recognized a colleague, but even more, a true kindred spirit. And what a powerhouse Green CAPE was with Sue and Steve as directors. They not only worked for protections from pesticides and a myriad of other threats to water quality, but sounded an early alarm about PFAS contamination. Stu and Steve were long-serving advisors of the Alliance for a Healthy Tomorrow and board members of Clean Water Action and anchors for Clean Water Action on the Cape. They organized community forums, petitions, and meetings. They showed up at countless hearings, demonstrations, and fundraisers. And most important to me, Sue was always there for many late-night phone calls about policies, new research, outreach strategies, coalition agendas, house and garden issues, and our cats. You know, I hope you agree that Steve's compelling words apply now as they did years ago, as we continue to work to create a culture of care, an ethic of community, striving to hold governments and corporations to a high standard of accountability for public health. Steve said, quote, "We are a community of activists. By activists, I mean people who get off their duff and do something about the health and environmental crises we are facing. For every activist, there are people who support us and help us make it possible for us to do our work. I'm referring to our extended community of family and personal friends that support us through encouragement, direct assistance, and most importantly, allowing us the time to do the activist work we are drawn to. It is not always easy to integrate this work into our lives. We have family, jobs, and other obligations. Often the people in our lives are called on to make sacrifices for us, whether it is watching the children while we are at a meeting or doing more of the household chores so that we have time to make phone calls, or not going out on Saturday night because we have a press release to write," close quote. And Steve closed with these words of gratitude that I want to repeat today. To my dear friend Sue, who I miss more than words can say, and to Steve and to our extended communities. Thank you all for your encouragement, your support, and understanding. We need you and we love you. Thank you.
Ellie, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. What a lovely, lovely tribute to two people who have been really important members of the Clean Water family for a very long time. I know that those others who have been in our midst for a long time are part of the Alliance for Healthy Tomorrow coalition that they were part of will have felt how meaningful that was as well. And we here are really so lucky to get to work with really, really incredible people. From the Green CAPE team and Sue and Steve, NAACP Mystic Valley Branch, Brent, Representative Giannino, Brian, and the Clean Air Taunton team. Thank you all for all of your incredible work, and congratulations. We're so, so glad to have you in our extended family and to have celebrate you here tonight. So we're going to ask all of you, everyone here, to help us out for a minute as we make sure that we capture the moment of this fantastic, wonderful Zoom room full of friends and allies. Everyone, if you are able, please turn your camera on right now and smile at your camera, because we're going to take a few screenshots of everyone in the room so that we make sure that we capture this. So I feel like we should probably need Jeopardy music playing while this is happening or something, but if you can just know that a couple of our staff are screenshotting away and scrolling through the screens to capture all of this love and friendship and community. And Maria, just give us a heads up when we're ready. Or a thumbs up. We can capture the fun is in the fight, you know, get the.
Yeah, and does someone else mind taking some screenshots as well, just for backup? Thank you.
Yeah, we got you.
Paulina's
Take
on it.
these.
Give a few hand gestures. Sorry, that sounded bad. But a few like celebratory hand gestures. Power. Thank you.
Stay clean water for another 50 years.
That's right. 50 for clean water.
Nice.
Are we all set?
All set. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Maria. Paulina, I'm turning it over
Awesome.
to you for the next piece.
Well, remember all those words y'all put in the chat earlier? Bethany and Maro helped us create a beautiful word cloud to highlight all of those memories and aspirations and appreciation words. So let's take a look. We have justice, environmental justice, fun is in the fight, fierce dedication, the real deal on EJ, protectors, heart, grassroots demands for EJ, just transition. Thank you all. This is really, really sweet. And it's what keeps us moving forward.
I love locked arms over there in the corner. Such great phrases that capture what this is all about. And with that, with those inspiring sort of sense of team and inspiring words in our minds, I'd like to introduce another one of our longtime advisory board members, Margot Barnett. Margot is an advocate and community leader from Worcester who has been on the Massachusetts Advisory Board for over 15 years. In case you haven't caught on, this is one of the great things about Clean Water, that when people join us, they stick around for a long time. Margot is one of those, and she has a strong compass that points towards integrity and justice, and on many occasions has been the voice that has kept us pointed in the right direction. So thank you for your leadership, and thanks for being here tonight, Margot.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. So I'm going to ask all of you to make just a little more of a stretch, because we know that you love and you value Clean Water Action so much. So the polluters, they got lots of money. And when they want some money, when they want something, they have all kinds of money to pour into it. But environmental justice needs to be people powered. We do a lot as volunteers, but it makes such a difference to have staff who can devote all their time, or I'm not saying all your time because you deserve a life, but all your time during your work hours, to your time and attention to this fight. We can supply the wind beneath their wings. So I'm going to ask each and every one of you to do one thing right now. I think Cindy Loopy is going to put, or has just put, a link in the chat, and sign up to make another donation. If you can, make it a monthly donation, because if you do that, then we don't have to focus, or they can spend their time in the fight, not having to do fundraising, especially through election day, so we can focus on endorsing candidates, the ones who are going to fight right up there in the State House for the things we need and get it done, knocking on doors, contacting voters. So you've all already been amazing. Let's look ahead to 2023 and just give a bit more. And if you're not sure what your donation size already was, I think stick around for this last part of the program, a very special 50th anniversary celebration. So I'm going to turn it back to Paulina and Elizabeth. Before I go, though, I want to say just one thing. Representative David LaBeouf is with us in spirit. He had a community meeting. He's one of our endorsees, and he's very much with us in spirit, but had a community meeting, couldn't be here. So I turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Margot. Thank you so much for your leadership, and I hope everybody follows Margot's leadership tonight. So I I want to give as we wrap up here, I want to give, well, don't go away, because actually we've got a little more, but we've got some funds yet to come. But as we wrap up the speaking portion of the program, I want to give a few quick thank yous, starting with the incredible Clean Water Massachusetts staff. You've already heard tonight from Mario, from Paulina, and from Cindy. But I would also like to introduce, let's see, I'm gonna wait till folks get on the screen here. So unfortunately, Laura Spark, as our senior policy advocate, had an emergency tonight that she had to handle and was not able to be here, but a key member of our team. And Marilyn Kanu, thank you so much as our intern this fall, along with Julia Lascaris. And a huge, huge, huge thank you to Bethany, who is here on the screen with us now. Bethany's our New England Finance and Development Associate. She planned this whole event, and she has been running the tech behind the scenes for the entire night. So a huge shout out to Bethany, who is the one who has kept the wheels on the bus for this event tonight. Yes. So thank you all so much. I also just want to give a quick shout out to two of our national board members who are here. We already mentioned Sarah Naiman when we did the Massachusetts Advisory Board. She is also a National Advisory Board member, just newly joined within the last couple months. And Maxine Lapellis, who is also from our national board and here tonight. So thank you both for being here and for your service to the organization. And lastly, a huge thank you to each and every one of you who contributed to this event, with special thanks to some of our largest donors who are displayed on the screen now. We truly, all of what you have seen tonight, everything that Clean Water does and is part of, and all the partnerships that we have are possible because of your support. So thank you, thank you, thank you to all of you, and for whatever size of donation you have given or will give in the future that is meaningful for you, it is meaningful for us, and it makes a huge difference. Thank you all.
Thank you all, and thank you, Elizabeth. Now we have a very exciting part of the program in which we're going to try to recreate some of the wonderful companionship that happens at our in-person events. So we're ending the formal program, but stick around. We'll like to open the floor for a walk down memory lane. So if you have a favorite memory of being part of Clean Water Action from any time in the past 50 years or a hope for the next 50 years, we want to hear it. So please raise your virtual hand or your regular hand. If you're looking for the virtual one, it's under reactions, and we'll call on you. So just a quick reminder, this is being recorded, but we want to hear from you.
Great. We'll give it a minute for folks to be able to put up hands. Let's see. We know some of you have something to share. I see Eben first, and let's see. If you want to kick us off, that would be great. Eben.
Sure. And I'm kicking you off right after my husband just dropped some greens into a frying pan. So we're gonna get a little bit of like cooking noise. Very in the spirit of Clean Water Action, the chefs of the movement. I was just thinking about clean water, like you guys are everywhere. You guys are as ubiquitous as water. And I was, sorry, I'm a little like thinking about the very many ways that Clean Water Action has influenced my work. Oh, I should also say, Eben, here, they pronouns. I'm the Massachusetts Field and Education Manager for Our Climate, which is an organization that helps train young people to advocate for climate solutions. Really excited to see some of the legislators on this call who I know young people I've worked with have reached out to. Special shout out to Rep. Hawkins, who helped us with the interdisciplinary climate education bill last session. So just holding some gratitude for that. And one of my favorite books is this Healing the Heart of Democracy by Parker Palmer. And in it, he talks about democracy and our hearts as tension holding machines. He uses the analogy of like our hearts or democracy as a loom, and you need tension in order to weave on a loom. Like if the strings are slack, you can't actually weave them. And that was the image that was coming to mind when I was thinking about what Clean Water Action has done for me, is this incredible ability to hold tension creatively, and to affirmatively and lovingly reach out in all of these directions that forces us to come into relationship, even to confront things that are really difficult. And that has also meant that personally, Clean Water Action has been a coach and a support for me when young people who are entering this movement, knowing that there's so much tension to hold, are wondering how to do that and how to lean into the difficulty with joy and love and appreciation for the people who are here, while also holding people accountable. So just like holding some tenderness and gratitude for Clean Water Action tonight. I'm so grateful for that.
Oh, thank you so much, Evan. It's really, really sweet. And next, let's hear from Pat Gazumba, and then after Pat, we'll hear from Rich. Oh, Pat, you're still muted, my dear.
I'll learn. Thanks. It's so great to be with all of you. And it's an amazing screen of activists. All of you have inspired me in so many ways that I just can't mention it all. But I want to say that SAFE, Salem Alliance for the Environment, and I'm the co-chair of SAFE along with Cindy Keegan, who is my other co-chair. And we love working with Clean Water Action. And we are at over 20 years old now, really thrilled to be partnering with Clean Water Action as the offshore wind industry takes off in Salem. And Clean Water Action has been our guiding star from the beginning of SAFE in 2001. It's always been Clean Water Action that we could rely on as allies and as guiding stars. And as we try to move into the future of clean energy, we're also really happy to be moving into a future of a workforce that is going to be really devoted to all people, not just the white people among us who can get into unions easily, but to all people, to people of color especially, to working class folks who can get into that space. And we're doing everything we can to work with all of you and with unions. And we look forward to bringing all people along to be in good, clean, unionized jobs where workers have a voice. And we hope Salem will become one of those centers. So thank you, Clean Water Action. We look forward to working with you for many years to come. And a special shout out to Cindy Lupi and Elizabeth Saunders for all that you do for us. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, Pat, right back at you. Thank you. Work that SAFE has done is so incredible over so many years. So Rich Pizzazaro, and then after Rich, we'll hear from Mike Sheed.
Terrific, thanks. Hi, everyone. I'm Rich Pizzazaro. I worked in the Commonwealth's Toxics Use Reduction Program for 29 years, and I retired a couple of years ago. In the latter half of my career, I was involved in toxics policy and coordinating the efforts of the Toxic Use Reduction Institute, the Office of Technical Assistance, and the Mass DEP as it relates to the Toxic Use Reduction Program. And I don't think of myself as a regulator, but certainly the industry thought of me as a regulator. And so during the second half of my tenure at the Commonwealth, I was promulgating regulations, regulating chemicals, and kind of when I did my swan song a couple of years ago, PFAS was kind of the up and coming issue. And I just want to say that being a regulator and actually having to go out for public comments, it was a huge, huge boost and really essential that Clean Water Action was there to provide comments about the chemicals that we were proposing to regulate. Because industry, the chemical industry specifically, they have so much money, they have so much expertise that they can pay for. It's questionable about the expertise part, but they have so much that they can pay for to essentially mouth what it is that they want them to say. And being in a role where I was putting out regulations and it was essential, it was critical that we had the advocacy community and especially Clean Water Action to be there to provide comments, to support the work that we're doing, because oftentimes there weren't enough voices for regulating chemicals. All that was coming through was the industry section and the business section. So I just want to say that certainly my work on toxics really couldn't have done it without Elizabeth and Cindy and Laura Spark coming to all the meetings, letting their voice be heard. It's really essential as we go forward, and it was as it has been in the past. So just a big shout out for Clean Water Action and the support that I received during my tenure when I was with the Commonwealth. So thank you.
Thank you, Rich, and for all of your work from the inside. It takes coming from both directions. So we'll hear from Mike and then next Mia.
Great, thanks, Elizabeth. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Mike Shade and I direct the Mind the Store program for Toxic Free Future. We're also a national environmental health organization. And I just want to say that it's been such a pleasure and an honor and a joy to partner with Clean Water Action over the years, working together to protect folks in Massachusetts and across the country from exposure to really nasty chemicals like PFAS. Working with Cindy and Elizabeth and Laura and the rest of the team over the last 9 years, it's just been such a pleasure. And I think Clean Water Action deserves so much credit for doing incredible work to help drive some of the most dangerous chemicals out of common consumer products and packaging that we find in our homes, but also chemicals that are impacting and poisoning frontline environmental justice communities where products are made, and communities like Saugus where chemicals and materials are disposed of. In just the last couple of years together, we've worked together to get toxic flame retardants out of furniture, winning commitments from companies like Macy's and Ashley Furniture. We've driven methylene chloride and NMP out of paint removal products at companies like Home Depot and Lowe's. And in recent years, have worked together to get PFAS out of food packaging at major retailers like McDonald's and Whole Foods. And these are huge national wins that could not have been achieved without the hard work and dedication of Clean Water Action in Massachusetts and other New England states and all across the country. Clean Water Action is really one of our most important partners. And it's really, it's such an understatement to say that we're stronger together. I mean, we're up against some of the biggest corporations in the world who are polluting the planet, and working together and building political power for long-term systemic change. We're working together to transform the toxic chemical economy. So congratulations to the Clean Water Action team on 50 years of transformative work to protect American families and folks across the world from toxic threats. And here's to 50 years more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, and thanks so much for all of your partnership and guidance. Being part of the national network of work on toxics just makes so much possible that wouldn't be otherwise. So Mia, we'd love to hear from you, and then next up will be Joel Tickner.
what a great group to be sandwiched between Mike Shade and Joel Tickner. It's so wonderful to be here and to see familiar faces and to celebrate clean water. Clean Water Action was one of my first meaningful job after grad school, not counting bartending. And I got to work really closely with Cindy and Elizabeth and others and Mike Shade long time ago on some of the same issues that we're still talking about today. But so much progress has been made. And this organization, I can say in my time in the nonprofit, advocacy space and also working with mission-driven businesses to really improve sustainability and safety in consumer products. This organization has the smarts, the strategy, and the humility that is just like unmatched. I think constantly from every level of clean water, what I see when I read your work, can you tell that some people are super excited to be Zooming with you? Some people aren't sick of Zoom. Some people think it's the best.
Like me.
But anyway, the smarts and the strategy, but also the humility and the true partnership and like really what grassroots action is supposed to be and what consensus building is and what movement building is. Clean Water exemplifies it all the time. Not a lot of ego in the room, just a lot of hard work. And that's priceless. That's amazing. So thank you for everything that you do. And it's great to be here with you.
Thanks.
And also, I fiercely ate all my broccoli on my dinner plate.
Yes, good
Well,
job.
congratulations.
You need clean water to grow good broccoli. Thank you, Mia and team.
I barely ate my broccoli.
All right, we'll hear from Joel next, and I know that more of you have stories, so I'd love to see another hand or two following Joel. So
wow, where do I start? And I was trying to think of stories, I just have to say how proud I am of all of you for all you've done. I grew up with Clean Water Action. Lee was one of my first mentors, taught me how to write a grant proposal, introduced me to funders, taught me what it was to be an organizer, a really great organizer. And, I learned a ton. And, I think one of the things that I learned from Lee is how to set up a really good organization where family matters, where people matter, where, you look at how long staff have been at Clean Water Action. They're there for a reason because it's a humble group that works together, that wants to support each other. But I think the two words that I would think of are vision and coalition. And vision, Clean Water's always had a big vision. I mean, we started the Precautionary Principle Initiative in 1998, to bring the precautionary principles as a guide to policy in Massachusetts. The Alliance for Healthy Tomorrow, the first broad coalition on toxics, the first state big picture safer alternatives policies. While we never got them passed, we had a vision. And the coalition side, I remember just a really important evening where Lee and I were having dinner with Ed Collins and Nancy Lesson that really brought this ability to bring labor and environmentalists together. There was a fig leaf that Lee gave to the labor community that I think was the start of a long-term, really solid coalition and broadening coalition with the labor movement and many other movements. That's been such a hallmark of what Clean Water Action has been able to do, is work with everyone to solve really massive challenges we have. So congratulations to all of you. I mean, what amazing leadership, what amazing staff, and all of you who've surrounded me for so many years. I'm lucky to have you in my lives.
thank you so much, Joel. And we're lucky to have been able to partner with you for all these decades too. And Vic Mahenka, so nice to have you here tonight. We love when our Clean Water former staff come back and don't forget that they're part of our family forever.
Hi, yeah, thanks for having me and hosting this. As Elizabeth mentioned, I'm former staff, so I was with the organization from 2018, 2020. And it's really good to see so many familiar faces too. I really appreciated working with everyone here on this call. I don't have a specific story. I just wanted to support the organization in general and say that Elizabeth and Cindy are amazing bosses. They run a really great office. Just for all of you who haven't worked for them, it was really great. I got so much good movement training. I remember when I joined, I was coming from the State House, and I'd always just ask these like weird questions that, you know, no organizer would ask, but somebody who was a political staffer might. And I just got like the greatest guidance from Cindy and Elizabeth in learning how to be an organizer, how to advocate, how to, you know, just center the voices of people who need to be heard. So yeah, congrats on 50 years. Yeah, I agree with Margot. It'd be great if we didn't need to be here 50 years from now working on these issues. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Vic. So great to have you here. And Lee Matsueda. And so thrilled to have
We're on.
you jumping in here as part of another event.
Yes, what's going on, Elizabeth? Great to see you. I'm gonna show you everybody who's here with the Public Transit Public Good Forum real quick.
Woo! We're with you in spirit there.
We'll keep
So-
pushing for a low-income fare.
So you can see they're definitely fired up. We're so sorry we can't just be on there. We're having this event, but you're with us. We love Clean Water Action. Happy 50th. I know you guys have really contributed to our campaign and our coalition efforts. So love to partner.
Woo! I love that. And we're so glad to be teaming up with all of you too. What an honor to merge these two events together for just a moment. How lovely. Thank you all. We got time for one or two more little stories or celebrations if anyone has one they want to share. I know you all have them. Many of you have been with us for a long time. I'm gonna briefly jump in with one that is one of my favorite stories because it lifts up the work of the Clean Water Canvas. And this was back in the early 2000s. I can't remember exactly what year, maybe 2003, 2004. And there was a camping camp, was when we were working on the bill to pass to ban mercury containing products. And we had the Providence Canvas team, I think, had sent some folks to go do what we call a camping canvas up in the Merrimack Valley because it's too far for any of our canvassers to drive for the day. But they went and camped out at, I think it was Harold Parker State Forest for a week so that they could canvass in Methuen, Massachusetts, where the chair of the then chair of the Environment Committee was, oh God, I can't even remember his name, Broad something, Arthur Broad something. Anyway, he was the chair of the Environment Committee representing Methuen, Massachusetts, and the bill was stuck in the committee. And so the canvas started going out. One day they started knocking on doors. They were gathering letters to him, going around saying, hey, you know, this legislator's holding up the bill. He's your state's rep. Will you write a letter to him? We hadn't even gotten those letters delivered. They were still like in a tent at the campground or something. The next day, he comes up to, and some of you might remember John McNabb, who was our legislative director for a very long time. And so the legislator comes up to John McNabb at the State House and is like, why are your canvassers in my district? And he said, well, we're just here to talk about the mercury bill. We'd like to see it move forward. And the next day the bill popped out of committee, moved on to the next step. Just showed that we hadn't even gotten the letters to him. It was just because the word of mouth was on the street that had gotten back to him, that we were talking about him and talking about mercury in his town. So Canvas can make a huge difference and is a huge part of what we do here. So any one last story anyone would like to share? Lee's gonna close us out.
Okay, so you reminded me about what the Canvas did to get the amazing Congressman Jim McGovern in. I don't know if everybody remembers that story. Jim McGovern tells it all the time. because he was a staffer for someone or another, but we had that horrible Congressman Blute, was it? Blute from Worcester, and he was like an anti-environmentalist, and he's also the one that was on that boat. I don't know if you remember. Anyway, so David remembers some kind of drunk boat story. But anyway, we decided early on we wanted to get rid of him before we even had a candidate. And I remember Chris Bathurst and I debating that. And so we actually, because we had the Providence canvas, we were able to take his district, this Blute guy, and canvass the whole district, just criticizing his anti-environmental policies through the whole year. And then when Jim McGovern came along to run and we endorsed him, we went back and said, this is the guy to replace him with, and did the whole district, every door. So that and the labor unions helped get one of the best congressmen in our state in office. And the canvas did it.
If I can chime in, thank you, Lee, for raising that. I was Jim McGovern's field director in 1996 when he was first elected to Congress. And we knew that the environment was the key to that campaign. We also knew that we were working for a candidate who, as I told my friend Bob Bingaman, who was then the national field director at Sierra Club, I'd been the witness at his wedding. And I told him when I started working on that campaign, we've got a candidate who, if nobody was able to tell him anything, and you just had to slide his votes under the door, would be with you 99% of the time. He's just that good on the environment. It means that much to him. Well, I completely underestimated Jim. Jim had 100% League of Conservation voting record for the first 10 years that he was in office. He's now at like 99% because there were a couple of times when he missed the vote or something like that. But it was totally clear to us that we had this amazing canvas, especially working in the southern part of the district, which isn't part of his district anymore, but from Westport and Dartmouth and Fall River and up through what was a ridiculously gerrymandered district. And we knew that we had people where we didn't have a Democratic town committee. We had people who had our back because the canvas was out helping Jim. And Peter Blute had a 38% League of Conservation voting record for his career, 4 years. He was very much caught up in a scandal when he was the head of Massport, and he ran a booze cruise boat with women on board, scantily clad, etc. We were happy to have retired him from Congress. Jim's been there now for 25 years, is the chair of the Rules Committee, continues to get his 98, 99, 100% ratings from League of Conservation Voters. We should say for the entire state, every member of Congress from Massachusetts has, I think it's 92% or better League of Conservation voting record, because Clean Water Action and organizations like it make it impossible to survive politically if you're not going to be with the environmental issues that matter to voters in this state. And Clean Water Action is at the center of the hub that makes that work.
I feel like that's the perfect place to close up. So thank you so much, David. Thank you so much, Lee. Thanks for everybody who came tonight, who shared, who donated, who's part of our work, who's ever called your legislator, and who's ever supported a clean water staff person. I meant to give a shout out to the families earlier, and that crossed my mind and went back out. But love hearing your stories. We love having you as part of our team. Thank you so much. Here's to the next 50 years of collaboration and victories for a healthy and just future. Good night, everyone.
Woo-hoo. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.